Welcome to this beautiful and awesome lesson. Guys, on our previous lessons, we were able to understand the concept of data types and variables, okay, and how we can merge them together and to do whatever that we want to do. Okay, so now in this episode, we are going to build a simple calculator, okay. So that means that we are going to do a lot of arithmetic operations, okay. We are going to do some additions and some subtractions and co. Okay, well, let's dive in. All right, so now to begin with, that is my comment. Okay, we are going to do calculation, so definitely what will you need? You will need an int variable. Okay, so let's say int x. Let's start like this. So we give it int s and what int y. Okay, so now here we'll do what x is equal to what 20 and y is equal to what 15. So now when you do c out, then x plus y, then we end the line like this. Now definitely when you run this code, what are you going to get? And I guess you know the answer. Okay, so go ahead and run it. When you run it, so even inside the console like this, when we build the project, okay, so we are getting some error, unexpected and like that. And okay, sorry, I did not end this code with the semicolon. Okay, the reason being is that I am building a project using JavaScript. Okay, in JavaScript you don't need to end your code with semicolon. Like, even though you can do it, but it's not compulsory. Anyway, let's move on. So now, as a Mac user, I'll send it to my S code. Okay, like this, and I run it. Let me run it, and you can see that I'm getting a result of what 35, which is awesome because 20 plus 15 will give us what 35. All right, so now let's make the code more advanced. Okay, so we can do something like int total, then we give it a value of what x plus y. Total is now x plus y, which is the 35, right? So now we will not need this one, so we will see out what the total like this. So when you see out the total and when you run the code, we can see that we have the same results. Okay, we have the same results showing here. Okay, awesome. We have the same results. All right. Okay, so one also might write the same code in this way. We'll start with the int, then give it a total. Okay, when you start with the int and give the total, it's pretty much the same, but we can see that our comparator is showing us here that it doesn't work that way. So when you give the int and give total, we don't need an int and total again. So we just take off the int and the code is pretty much the same. One thing that we want to understand is that you first have to assign the values first. Okay, because if you don't have the value, then what is going to be your total that you are talking of? Okay, that is why I write it on the first hand for you to understand it. All right, so now let's enter into more advanced options. Okay, so for instance, we are building a calculator, and if you are building a calculator, you don't expect you yourself to put the value for the user. The user should be able to put his own value, not you, the programmer, putting the value for the user. So in this case, what do we do? Let's look at how we can do that. So now I'll clear everything here. Let me take this one out. We are not the one declaring a value for the user, so I'll take that one too out. So now what I'll do is I'll do C out, then I'll put in a string that says what welcome to my calculation program. Anything goes. Okay, programming is not about English. Let's move on. Then we end it. Let's end it end line like this. Okay, so consider this one to be a welcoming screen. Okay, so now what is next? Let me write my next line of code. That would be C out. Then I will say what enter the first value you want to sum. Okay, so enter the first value you want to sum. All right, so from here we will end it. All right, so at this point, I hope you understand what you're doing. Okay, so the welcome screen is here. So welcome to my simple calculator. Okay, we are doing it together. So let's do our. Okay, we can do mine, but we are doing it together. This one is a string. It doesn't matter. For the string, it doesn't matter. You can put any word, but just that I want it to be somehow meaningful to what we are doing. Okay, so welcome to our calculator program. So welcome to our simple calculator program. Okay, enter the first value. Enter the first value you want to. So what do you have here? We said enter the first value you want to sum. Okay, so after this, please take note. Okay, take note of this one. Here we'll do C in. Okay, we can see that we have C out. This one is not C out. This one is C in. Okay, C in. Then the C in. Then we do what double greater than sign, not less than. Okay, double greater than sign, C in, then we do what? X. Okay. C in, double greater than sign, then X. Okay, something like this. Now let's move on. Now we want the next one for the Y. So we do C out, then we do our double less than, then we are putting it in a string. So we say what? Enter the second value. Enter the second value. We end the line like this. Okay. Now when we end the line like this, we will still need what? The C in, then we point it to Y. Okay, so it's greater than sign like this. All right, now so before anything, let's run the code and see what we get. Okay, so now we run it. Okay, we have a pop-up here. Let me bring it here for you to see. You can see, welcome to our simple calculator program, and what? Enter the first value you want to sum. Okay, so now I enter a value like 90 and I hit enter. You can see enter the second value. So when I enter the second value like 10, when I hit enter, it says what? The program ends with exit code 0. Okay, so what it's trying to mean is that in your case, when we're using the block code or maybe other different test editor, the program will clash. Okay, because we have not actually run the next line of code to sum it all. Okay, but we are at the saver side. Okay, at this point we are at the saver side. We are good to go. Okay, so now let's look at how we can write on the next line of code to do the calculation. All right, so now to do that, it's very simple. We just need maybe a 2 line of code and we are good to go. So now we will say what? Now we are going to reference the total. If you can see like this, I wanted to show you something. But you saw it, right? My test editor was giving you an error about it. How we can see it here. You can see that my test editor is giving you an error. Okay, so the total is not safe. Okay, we declared, but we will not use it. So now we are going to do the total. So we do what? Total, then we said is equal to what? X, then plus Y. Now, when we come here, then we do what? C out, then we do what? I will say what? The sum or the total. You can make it the total or the sum is, then we leave it like this. Now from here, I can end it, add the total at a go. Okay, I can end it and come to the next line of code and do the total, but it will be more professional when you add it at a go. So I'll do sorry, first I have to bring the double less than sign, then I say total, then I end it successfully like this. Okay, so all things being equal, I think we are good to go. Now let's run the code and see. All right, so when we run the code, it is welcoming us. Now enter the first value you want to sum. Then I put in my 90 and I hit enter. Then it says what? Enter the second value. Then I put in my 10. Then I enter. What do I have? Oh, sorry, I ran the code twice. Okay, let's do it again. And I put in the value of 90. Then I put in 10. Then you can see the sum is what? 100. Wow, wow, awesome, awesome. All right, so by then, let me run the code and show you something. We put in our figures, let's say 90, then as for the second one, then I put in something like a decimal, okay, 9.9, and I hit enter. You can see, even though it is giving me the answer, but the answer is not correct because it didn't add the 9. And we understand that because, like I explained it on the previous lessons, okay, int is only used for the whole numbers. It is not for the decimal numbers. Okay, so if you want to go by decimal, you probably have to change everything here to what? To a float. We have to change everything here to a float. So now after changing everything to a float, now you are good to go to run your code. So if you ask me for the first one, I can do 90.9 and I hit enter. Then the second one, I can do 10.8, and you can see that I have the right answer, okay, as expected. All right. All right, so one might think that, okay, so what if I use the double? Okay, so when you use the double, okay, I've changed everything here to the double. You run your code. Okay, so asking of the first value, we give it 10. The second value, we give it 9.9, and you can see that we have our answer. Even though we get the answer correct, but the double also function perfectly when using calculations, but we need to understand some technicalities also before we can move on with that. It's not only this one that you can do. We can add the next value maybe to Z, okay, and write additional code to make it more functionable, okay. So as you want it. All right, so now let me show you something again. So you can see here, it said enter the value that you want to sum. Someone mistakenly will type something like good and hit enter. What will happen? The program will crash and it will end like that. Okay, because the value should supposed to be a numbers, not words. Okay, as we all know. So and the way it crashes like that, it is not really idle. Okay, so in the future, we will look at how to make it more functionable. Okay, maybe giving the user a report that, oh no, you're supposed to put in numbers, not words, or something like that. Okay, to make it more functionable. All right, so now I'm compelled to add more functionalities. Okay, so let's say the person puts in all the right figures, and what is next? We want to add more thing to it. Okay, so now I'll create a string variable of name. All right, so a string variable of name, something like this. Then from here, I have to end it like this. Okay, so now after the person get the answer, then what is next? All right, now I'll come here. I'll do C out. What is your name? Okay, then I'll end the line like this. Then I'll do scene. Yes, then I'll point to what the variable name, which is what name. So something like this. All right, so now I'll come to the end. Then I'll do C out. Then I'll put a message. So thank you. Then I'll do name, which is the person name that you will enter. Then I'll continue with the message using our program. Okay, anything for using our calculator or our program. Then we end it like this, end the line like this. Okay, so the name that the person will give, because we already set the name, which is going to be a string. So we set the name and we are seeing to the name, which is the name. Okay, so now after you put in the name, the message will come, thank you. Okay, which is the C out. Then the person's name will come here. Then our message that we want to send to the person. Okay, so all things being equal, we have to get it. Let's run the program and see. All right, so now before you run the program, there must be a space here. Okay, you understand it when you run it. Okay, there must be a space here so that the name will not be attached to the 4. Okay, now let's run it and see. Now you can see, welcome to our simple calculator program. What is your name? Now I am putting in the name. I'm Joseph. Then enter your first value. I say 20. The second value, I say 20. Then when I hit enter, give me the sum, which is 40. Then say thank you, Joseph, for using our program. Awesome, awesome, guys, awesome. We did it. So as it stands now, our data is working perfectly, with the exception of the way the program crashes and when the right value is not put in. Okay, so for instance, let me show you one more thing. So name. What if I put in my surname with my first name? Okay, you can see the program did not continue. It just crashed and give me what, thank you, Joseph, for using our program. So in a situation like this, what do? We have a way that we can write a code to fix that, which we'll get there. But before then, we can specify here. Okay, so instead of what is your name, we can make it what is your first name, so that the person will know that I'm not in to put in all my name. Okay, some people are having more than 10 names. If they have to put everything, your program will be in trouble. Okay, so when it asks for the first name, then the person will be more specific. Okay, but by not putting many names, but only one name. All right, or what is your surname? It is good to go. Okay, all right. So now, congratulations once again. You were able to build your calculator using a C++ program. Okay, so let's meet on the next one and learn more.